if you don't have a facilitator on that table, can you be able to join a table that connects with your age so that you can be able, facilitators please, let's help the people that the gentlemen that are on tables that don't have a facilitator. This table doesn't have a facilitator, so let's divide them amongst ourselves so that we can be able, we have a table here, we have a table there, we have a table, every table that has a facilitator, please make sure that you go and join that table so that we learn together, okay? Now, when we talk about values, just a brief introduction about values. This is a system, and I call them growth gaps, because we all want to be successful. If I asked you here, every one of you has an agenda in this life. Whether you think you can achieve it or you think you can't achieve it, you have an agenda. Some of you want to be plumbers, some of you want to be politicians. Someone says, plumber. Some of you want to be architects, some of you want to be lawyers, some of you want to be doctors, pediatricians. So if I asked each one of us, we all have an aim and we have a dream to be this successful person. Now, some of us measure success in money, and you're like, okay, I want to be this doctor, and then I want to make this money, and then I want to drive this car, and then I want to live in this house. You have a dream of the kind of life that you want to have. And one thing that I want to tell you, if you came here today, whether you were forced by your parent, whether you came voluntarily, whether you heard from your neighbors and you were like, I'm also tagging along and going, your dream is valid. No one should ever tell you that your dream is inachievable, that your dream, you can't get to it. So we all want to be successful in life. But bridging the gap between where we are right now and where we want to be sometimes is the problem. Okay? So what the values that we want to talk about today are the bridges between where you are right now, you're still growing. Some of you are 17, some of you are 20, some of you are 13, some of you are 5 years old. Okay? And then, because in this generation we've grown up with a lot of sense of entitlement, because you find bread on table, you find, everything, soda, school fees is paid, everything. So it's like, why don't they pay? Even when you find there is no food, you ask like, I'm supposed to have food. So some of us have not even gone through the bad kind of life. So we have a lot of entitlement, and we don't know that our parents are actually struggling. Do you know that some of your parents are getting loans to pay your school fees? Do you know that sometimes your parents are kneeling before principals just to make sure they beg for you to do exams so that you can be able to go to the next class and grow the way you want to grow? So some of these things are hidden from us. You don't know where your parent is getting the money for your clothes. You don't know how she's paying that for the house that you're living in. You actually don't know. But they're having stress. You've heard about the gunshots that are happening around town. You've had someone shooting, a money lender. Just imagine that maybe he had taken a loan to pay school fees, and now he's failing to pay the loan. He's depressed and he's stressed. And now he's reacting. Now, we do not want to groom a generation that is growing to grow up and become that kind of person. We want to groom a generation that is going to grow up and make your parents proud. Let your parents look at you and say, you know what? I had to foot. I had to borrow money. I had to beg for my children to do exams. But my child, I am so proud because right now he is an understanding, a responsible citizen. So that we are bridging the gap between where you are right now. To tell you that, by the way, that entitlement is not taking you anywhere. To tell you that the lack of values, I don't want to greet people, I want to be alone, I want to be left alone, I only just want to be with gadgets and what, and God forbid, some of us don't even know that there is something called death in this world. Yeah, that you can wake up one day and your parent is no more. Because I am a parent. I am preparing my children for when I live and I am not around. And maybe they will be divided by relatives. And maybe she will try her level best to survive in the world where I am not as her parent. That makes me cry. That makes your parent cry tears at night while they are sleeping, because they are looking for survival for you. But In order for you to get the value, instead of you getting the values, you're getting wings. Instead of you getting the values, you're getting entitled. Instead of you getting the values of respect, of priorities, of good attitude in the world, of reading your books, but they are giving us too much work. Giving you too much work. Can you try being a casual laborer? You go and dig for your living so you can get food. Can you try that? Would that be sweet? Sorry? Being a casual laborer? Can you go and lift a migugu fast mutaun in Owino? Let me tell you, some of the most entitled human beings, ngatata we asitula migugu mu Owino. Naye bw'ajja wano ayagala iPhone. Bw'ajja wano ayagala tablet. If there is no cartoon, me, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to bathe. Even mere bathing and brushing your teeth becomes a problem. I am speaking this because I have a heart for the parents. The parents want all the best for you. They are praying for you. While we are praying, we are even crying tears. We are bargaining with God to give you life, to give you wisdom, to provide so that you will have a roof on your shoulder. But the moment we as parents are crying, are praying, are travailing, are working so hard, are getting the loans, and you that they are working for is not able to even get it into their heads, kneel down and thank them and tell them that, you know what, I didn't know that it's a tough job out there to be a parent. We give birth to you while we are happy. Oh, boo boo, while you're skipping, you know, that baby is jumping up and down. Oh, And then after that, don't enter my door without knocking. Why? Because you're either watching something you're not supposed to watch on your phone, or you're holding magazines that you're not supposed to hold. Because you saw a girl, because the girl has a big butt and has a breast, and that is exciting you. Parents, we are not excited by that foolishness. We are excited by how much you are excelling. We are excited by God protecting you. And we are excited by long life and you being able to grow up to be a proper citizen and a good citizen. So when you go back home, I don't want you to look at your parents as if they're the ones that are hindering you. They don't want you to go to the parties. After I grew up, I thanked my parents for not allowing me to go to certain parties. Because it's possible that is when I could have gotten pregnant at 14. Because people were fooling around, and because I could not say a strong no, because they thought I was not adult enough. But right now at 10, you feel you can do anything and you're entitled to your freedom. You know, I'm entitled to my freedom. The freedom that you have. Sit home, be obedient, know your priorities, pray hard, respect your parents, that you will grow up and what you're doing right now to your parents, you're sowing seeds. And when you grow up, you are going to reap some of the seeds. I don't know if you want to give back to a child who will look at you and they ask themselves, oh, why am I even here? Why is this my parent? I don't think you want that. So whatever you are doing right now, just like I said, your dreams are valid. So everything you do between now and then, you are either killing that dream or building that dream. And those are the values that we are going to talk about today. I don't take this lightly. I take this as the most important assignment of my life, to be able to speak to you, whether you're 5 years, whether well, one day you will remember. Maybe if you fail to forget to remember your parents' words, you'll remember that one day Bahati told us that this world is not an easy world. And so we are preparing you for a world that is not easy. For a world where next time you will lift someone's iPhone and you will be taken to prison. That is the world. While your parents are saying, oh, my child, my boo-boo, the world does not handle you like that. It handles you with iron hands. So if that's what you want, one day for your parents to look at you while you're being burnt because you stole something, you imprisoned someone, and you impregnated someone, and then they have to take you to prison, you raped someone, you did something. All these things are happening because of entitlement, because life is simple. So the same parents that are creating the simple life for you, you're actually creating a hard life for them. So I want us to know that the attitudes that we're going to talk about, they precede your action, how you choose to see things. They actually create an outcome, okay? I know most of you know attitude. So we're going to run into the benefits and how to rectify our attitude and then set our priorities so that we can set ourselves. I say the only way we bridge from where we are to where we want to be is have a set of values and be able to be confident and follow those values. So I want us to turn to our tables and be able to connect with our facilitators, and I want you to be able to contribute. Some of you think, oh, I am too great. I know too much English. I come from what? From which international schools? Which school is greater than what? You're seeing others as insects. My friend, we are all the same here. We are all in the struggle to become successful. So contribute, discuss, converse, and make sure that you connect with your fellow participants. Thank you very much. So we're going to read 4, and we're going to start with you. Your attitude affects, let's go to your benefit, the benefits.
When you develop a positive attitude, you experience the following benefits. You are content and enjoy life more. You inspire others to achieve more together. You attract people who exhibit the same qualities.
Do you understand those 3? You're content and you enjoy life more because you're not gloomy all the time. Instead of being gloomy and complaining and grumbling all the time, then you become a grumpy kid. But when you have a good outlook on life, because here it says that attitude enhances relationships, that means you build better relationships even in your home or even with your friends at school because you have a better attitude, the outlook of things. So here you get content and enjoy life more, you inspire others to achieve more together, and then you attract people. Do you know a person with a bad attitude attracts people with bad attitude? Because you're both grumpy. So you're going to grumble together. Do you have a brother that you grumble with or a sister that you grumble with? Every time, like you click each other. Eh? When someone is disturbing you, then you go and you start speaking those small things. But this one, I even don't understand. Let me go to my room. I'm tired of this home. So you realize you attract people who exhibit the same. But if your sister came to you and they were grumbling, and you'll be like, but maybe that's not what they meant. Can you try and look at it from their angle? So you realize that, you'll be like, but you're also siding with them. So now, they are not becoming your friend. Why? Because you have different attitude and she has a different attitude. Okay, can you read number 4?
You see the opportunities in every situation.
You see opportunities in every situation. So, I mean, your parent tells you, I don't have fees right now. And you're like, but let's see, maybe you can never know, maybe next week we will get. Let me prepare myself in the meantime. So, instead of saying, I will not prepare myself because I've not yet paid school fees. So you realize that you're seeing opportunities to even help your parents better or to help out at home. When you see a dirty car, you're like, okay, maybe I might not wash the whole car, but I can do something. I can start with the wheels while everyone else is doing something. So you realize that, and before you know it, you're being given other responsibilities, and you're being favored in a way. Why? Because you always volunteer to do certain things because you have a good attitude. One who does not volunteer because you have a nanny or a housemaid at home, house help, so you're thinking, they should do everything. Yeah? But if you're the kind who volunteers and your parents like, my boy is growing, my boy is really trying to be a very reasonable man, you realize that it does, there are so many opportunities. You usually exhibit gratitude towards others. You're able to be grateful. Grumpy people are never grateful. They're always complaining about something. Even when the food is good, if they find something to complain about it. Even when the cloth is good, they will either say it's short or it's white. They will find a weird explanation. Okay? And then, number 6. You keep pushing until you succeed. So just imagine, you've come from school and maybe you didn't perform the way you thought you would perform. Instead of saying, I've given up, even the teachers are bad, in your head you promise yourself, you're like, next time I'm going to go back, I am going to concentrate more, I am going to focus more, I am going to read more. Why? Because you have a positive outlook on life, you have a good attitude. But if you have a negative attitude, you will always look for someone to blame. My math teacher was bad, that is why I don't like math. But again, he's not going to be there where you are not. When you become unsuccessful and you have no food to eat. The same teacher that is standing before you in that class, some people are going to be successful and some people are not going to be successful. So which side do you choose? Sorry? those that are going to be successful. So that means that if you learn that having a positive attitude actually puts me on the side of those that want to be successful in the future, then you jump on and then say, you know what, I'm going to read better. I'm going to actually ask where I've not understood. I'm going to befriend that teacher. I'm going to be afraid. I'm going to be confident. I will ask questions in class. So you realize that that is a good attitude. And so that means you're willing to learn. And that means you keep pushing until you succeed. You don't just give up just like that. Okay? Let's go to steps to follow.
The most important person to listen to is yourself. What you tell yourself about your situation is that appropriately before. Choose to think positive thoughts, negative.
Are we all following, please? Follow.
Negative thoughts arise, respond to. Tell yourself something
Positive.
Don't let negative voices inside
No, but I'm going to be disturbing everyone else. Sorry? Oh, you want to tell? Oh, sorry. I thought you were telling me to speak. You can choose what you think. In the moments where you are negative, you realize that is self-talk. You have convinced yourself that this person is bad. You've convinced yourself that this person is interfering in my peace. You've convinced yourself that that person is actually, the teacher is bad. So that means you are fighting majorly with the voices in your head. But the moment something comes up and you're like, that person is bad, and you're like, but what have they done to me? They're only teaching me. So I can choose to sit and listen and learn, or I can choose to hate them. So that means everything comes down to your choice, okay? So when you say talk to yourself, you sit down and you're like, okay, but he wasn't bad after all. I think I'm the one who has a problem. I think I have to see them differently. Have those things happened to you? They have? When have you ever talked to yourself? What was happening?
Let's say you just make a slight sound. By writing a 1,000-word essay. And from the end of the day, think about it and start talking to yourself about areas where I should have improved.
High five. So you see, you sit down and panel beat yourself. You're like, no. So you realize that you speak to yourself. We think we can speak to other people, but you can actually speak to yourself, and you can tell your mind, come back to proper understanding, you know, collaborate, let's do something better. Okay, so let's go to number 2.
Choose positive relationships over negative ones. Think about the people that you said that you spend a lot of time with. Are their attitudes primarily positive or negative? Attitude is contagious. So you should spend as much time as possible with people who choose to think positively. Their willingness to see the good in the situation will encourage you to make the same choice. If your circumstances don't allow you
to completely avoid
negative people, then seek out positive people and spend time with them to
counteract
negative influences in your life.
So how do you understand that? Were you following? How do you understand it?
I think, like, instead of making friends with people who have bad attitudes, I think we should join people who have good attitudes who can help you change your ways and improve on yourself.
Okay, so you see, were you following? What did you understand? Okay, so because we say that bad company corrupts good morals. Have you ever heard of that saying? That bad company corrupts good morals. That even when you are good, you were brought up well, you have a good attitude, the moment you have a friend who has a negative attitude, it has said here that it is contagious. Do you know being contagious? You remember COVID? That if you were close to someone who has COVID, you would get it. You get it? So it's contagious. So that means bad manners, bad attitudes are contagious. If you are a friend to someone who has a bad attitude, even if you start good and you're telling them, but change your ways, before you know it, they will change you. Because every time they're grumbling into your ear, every time they're speaking about someone, every time they're complaining about someone, so before you know it, you're also doing the same thing. So you choose positive relationships instead of the negative. Right? Okay, so can we read number 3?
Feed your faith. Start your faith. Choosing a positive attitude is challenging at first. It's especially difficult if you haven't been filled your mind with positivity. If you have been starved of anything positive, you need to start feeding yourself with a diet of motivational material. Books that encourage a positive attitude, listen to affirming messages. The more negative you are, the longer it will take to turn your attitude around. But because you must not be there to the right kind of food, you can become a positive thinker.
Okay, so you realize, what did you get from that?
Let's say you're being influenced in doing wrong things, you can do things that make you change
The better person.
the better person.
Okay, okay. So that is feeding your faith and starving your fears. And we say that feeding your faith is by coming to places like this, where you have people that are sharing positive things. Some of you go to church, some of you go to mosques, some of you go to, to places where they have positive messages, or even watch TV, or even maybe you've seen your parents watch motivational videos and stuff like that, just to starve their fears and feed their faith and make sure that they are doing well. So I want us to run very quickly and go to priorities. Priorities is number 11. Okay? Priorities is number 11, and we're going to have, okay, when you approach your day, okay, I don't want us to start from here. Don't confuse activity with accomplishment. Put first things first, okay? So let's go, your turn. First things first, that's the last paragraph for number 11. Number 11. The last paragraph.
First things first.
You can skip that name. Okay, the reason most major goals are not achieved.
It is that we will spend our time doing second things first.
Okay, so I'm thinking we stop there because this is a long paragraph. If we read it, we're going to take too long. When you know your priorities, it allows you to put first things first. Okay, for example, what do you do when you wake up first thing in the morning? Wash your face. What do you do when you wake up first thing in the morning? Okay, so like you have a routine of some sorts. What do you do in the morning? Are you sure we are saying the right things? Because some of you wake up and then you go and sit and even put on cartoon, minus washing your face, or not cartoon but animation, or you just blouse around. Some people just love blousing around instead of doing the right thing. Well, you're supposed to go and have tea, you're actually doing something totally different. And while you're supposed to have lunch, so people tend to do what they're not. Let's give an example at school. What's your normal school day? Mm-hmm. 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 Lunch. The last lesson of the day. But you realize that some people, while others are going to class, for them they are walking in the opposite direction. And sometimes you ask them, but where are you going? We are all supposed to go to class. But maybe they've remembered they're supposed to do something, or that's when they're supposed to meet their friend, that's when they're supposed to, some people even dodge classes. I don't know whether in this generation people still dodge classes. In my generation, people. So you see someone is doing the wrong thing, okay? The first priority was you're supposed to go to class. But now you're meeting your friend instead of going to class. So that means you're not doing it in the order. For example, your parent tells you at home that, you help out with the dishes, and then after that maybe you do this and this. Maybe there is a certain order you've been given. So some of us tend to do the last things first. If you know that you are supposed to play or have fun, you tend to have more fun and play out there, and then when it's about time for your parent to come back, then you remember, I didn't do the dishes, I didn't mop the house, I didn't make my bed, I didn't. So you're doing the last things first and you're doing the first things last. And we said we all want to be on the side of the successful, right? No successful person does the last things first. They will actually do the first things first, because then after that you're like, I have all the freedom now, I can play and I am not worried, you know. But the moment you go to play before you do your work, you realize you're always worried. What time is she coming? Is mommy back? I've not yet done this. And then you start bribing your friends or even your cousins or even your siblings. Can you do this for me? Can you help me? Why? Because you did the things in a different order. So you realize that, put the first things first. If right now is time to study, time to study. It is not time to watch a phone, it's not time to watch animations, it's not time to watch, it is time to study. Some of you have holiday packages, right? And so, do you do them in time? Do you set priorities for yourself and say, you know what, after washing my face, after I've had breakfast in the morning, while I am still fresh, I am going to sit on a table and do my homework? Do you do that? Or to whoever it may concern? And then after that you procrastinate, you're like, I will do it after lunch. And then after lunch you get lazy. And then before you know it, the whole day has gone. You've not touched anything important to do, but you've just lounged around the whole day. So you realize that does not lead you anywhere. That does not create a discipline of overcoming or of success. That creates a discipline of procrastination, because the more you procrastinate, the more you actually become a procrastinator. Okay? So that's not good. Identify your priorities based on your requirement. We're going to actually skip that, because in the explanation you realize we've talked about that, the things that you have to focus on and the things that require less focus. You realize when you're washing dishes, you don't need a lot more alertness. But when you're reading your books or doing your homework, you need a lot more alertness. So that is why the first hours of the day are very crucial if you want to accomplish anything. Some of you are not readers. Are you readers? Do you read? What do you read? Stories. Mm-hmm. You read stories. Like which story? The party. Oh. So do you have a holiday package? You finished it already? Okay. So does mommy remind you to do it? Every day. What time do you do it? At 11. So you realize that sometimes our parents actually set routines for us, for our good. Why? Because they are training you to have a certain discipline towards being an achiever and towards being a successful person. But sometimes we look at them and we're like, well, they're too strict, Mama. If I don't do it at 11, does it mean that I will not do it? I can even do it at 4. So you realize, so we look at them as the enemies, we look at them as, they are defeating, they are taking away our freedom, but they are actually not taking our freedom. They are only saying, I want you to be a responsible person. And I think your parent has even gotten to a point of saying, I will not remind you, I want you to remind yourself. Make your own timetable for that day. Has your parent ever done that? So you set your own routine, and then you start moving according to that routine. So when you grow up, it's going to be so easy. So many people are struggling when they're adults. Why? Because the foundation was not good. Okay? So you make sure that your foundation is good. Do not look at people. Remember we talked about attitude? Do not look at people who are giving you routines as people who want to take away your freedom. Look at them as people who want to create a discipline and a system of you winning. So that means you look at them, you'll even appreciate them. At some moment, you will feel like, it's getting into my freedom. But when you talk to yourself, like we said, you will say, they wish me well. So I'm going to confirm, I'm going to get into the system and do the right things, okay? So let's go through the benefits. We start with you. Benefits? Mm-hmm. 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 When you accomplish a task. A task, okay. You experience high satisfaction. Have you ever felt that? When you're doing when you do something and you feel like, yeah, I'm done. Can you give us an example? Self. Okay. You feel like, yeah, you feel proud of yourself, right? That is satisfaction. So you get to spend, can you read the next one?
You get to spend the best of your energy on the most important tasks.
Have you understood that? Can you give us an example?
When you're told to do your work,
Mm-hmm.
and you finish it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you realize that you spend your energy, like we said, the things that you're supposed to do in the morning. If you do them in the morning, you are fresh, your energy is high, okay? Instead of procrastinating and saying, I will do it at 4. So here it says that you get to spend the best of your energy on the most important things. That means that the most important things in your life should come actually closer to the morning, because you're fresh, you're awake, you're well rested, so that you can leave all the games and chilling. You guys love chilling a lot. You chill in the afternoon when, everything is done. And then, number 3, your turn.
You know which things should come first and can act on them.
Exactly, you explained that. Okay, number 4.
You don't waste time on things that are non-essential.
Give us examples of non-essentials.
Like playing before doing work.
Playing before doing work. So you realize that there are things that are non-essential and there are things that are essentials. But sometimes we have our priorities upside down. The things that are non-essentials become essential to us. How many of us agree? So the things that are non-essentials become essential to us, and those that are essential become non-essential. Actually, sometimes, have you ever thought that you're reading for your parent? Has it ever? Sometimes you think about it and you're like, I'm literally reading for my parent. Have you ever? Has it ever snuck into your brain? And you knew that it was a bad thought, but it's like I have to read for them. So you realize that it's an essential thing. You want it to be a non-essential, but it's not going to become like that. Okay. So don't waste time. You focus on what matters the most, right? Let's read the last one.
You develop the power to say no to what doesn't align with you.
Have you understood that? Can you give us an example? Two? This one doesn't want to be beaten. I hear when a person doesn't want to beat you. You say no. No, just imagine your cousin just comes. You have your holiday package, you have your routines, but for them, they are the chilling kind. Now they've come and they're getting on the games all of a sudden. You know that you can be that disciplined person and say, no, this is not time for me to play games. This is time for me to do my homework. And even if it means me going to my bedroom and not doing it in the sitting room where everyone is, I am going to go back, lock myself in the bedroom, do my work. So that means your no is in capital letters. Like you can clearly say, no, this is not time for me to do this. I know the right time for me to do that. Okay? Because you're all growing. You've even had, I know you don't have anyone young here, you've heard about relationships. Yeah? You've had your peers who are talking about relationships. And you've had your peers who are talking about having heartbreaks. Why? Because they were doing wrong things at the wrong time. Okay? Time for heartbreaks is supposed to be after you're 20, after you you get it. This is time to concentrate and build your foundation. Do you know building a foundation? Right now you are building a foundation. So develop the power to say no to what doesn't align with your priorities. That means the priorities are set by you, and then you decide to say this does not align with my priorities. Say for example, your friend tells you, let's beat him up. Huh? You've seen fighting people who like fighting. Then they have cliques of fellow angry boys. They're like, let's beat him up. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. If you want to do it alone. So you tend to look the bad one in the group, but you have priorities and then you have values. You're like, no, at my place, we do not beat people. We do not insult people. And actually, maybe when you find someone that has been beaten, you'd offer them a hand to lift them up and tell them things are going to be okay. Why? Because you have good values. And so you can say no when time comes for you to say no. Someone says, let's escape. What has someone ever told you that you felt does not align? That you should steal people's scholastic materials. And what did you say? So you see? Okay, so you reasoned with yourself and told them, no, I am not going to do this. So that means you have values and you respect yourself enough to not do something that you're just being told to do, okay?
You guys think you're studying for your parents? Like, that's the feeling I got. Is like, do you think that you're studying for your parents? Maybe you should elaborate.
Okay.
That more. They might think they're studying for their parents.
Okay. I asked, and some of you showed me that you understood. When your parent, for example, they tell you prioritize your education. Do you feel that sometimes, you know what, I am doing this because of my parent? Actually, if it were up to me, maybe I would not be reading. I would not even be going to school. Do you feel like that sometimes? Okay. And that is normal, because sometimes we are rebellious, because when someone tells us to do something and we don't see reason why we are doing it. But now here we are explaining and saying that in your best interest, if you want to be successful, okay? If you want to be a beggar for the rest of your life, it's your choice. If you want to be a person, a street dweller, one who carries things, one who sends sand on site, you get it? You choose which side you want to be. Everything is a choice in life. So every time you look at that blackboard and you have math things and you don't understand them, as in open your eyes wider, ask more questions. Why? Because everything is contributing towards the good life that you want to ever have. If you ever want to have money in your life, you concentrate, okay? You prioritize your education and say, if this is time for me to study, I am going to study. When the time comes for me to chill, I will chill. But for now, priorities are in line and they're not upside down, okay? So, and I don't know whether you've had, it's not for your parents. You're not actually.
You're not going to school for your parents.
Half the time they don't even know what you're doing in school. Sometimes you even ask for help with your home. You don't know what you're doing because they are stressed looking for money, but what they want is, I am giving my child a good future. Sometimes, do you think that going to school is a punishment? that, you know, these parents just want to get rid of us, you know, get out of the house so that they can go and do their own things. Have you ever felt like that? They're not getting rid of you. They are actually contributing, painfully contributing, because that money would have been sweet. I'm a parent. But when I pay 4 millions as tuition for my daughter, do you know what 4 millions can do for me? Hey, I would have beautiful hair. I would even go for a vacation. You get it? I would enjoy it because it's sweet. But painfully, you take it to a bank and put it there so that someone can go. And then you buy fuel, and then you have to drive them to school. You realize that I am doing a lot of things that I don't want. So your parents are not enjoying. But they wish well for you, and they're saying we must sacrifice in order for our children to be successful, okay? So you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anyone, okay? So journal your life. I know some of you love writing. I know when I was your age, I used to write a lot, the things that happened to me and really happen, okay? So, okay, priorities, sometimes we need to write them down. You realize that sometimes you will do things in a different order, but when you write them down and you're like, first thing in the morning, I'm going to read, I am going to do this, I am going to do this. And in this generation, some of you have even small notebooks. Right now, you're even going with this notebook. That means you can make it a habit every day, morning. You write down the things that, and some of you don't even forget prayer. It's on your to-do list. Like, I am going to pray, be thankful for the life that I have, okay? There are people that don't have the life that you have. There are those that are struggling in the cancer ward. They didn't eat anything bad, they didn't do anything bad, but they found themselves with cancer, stage 4 cancer. And maybe they have to go to India for a transplant. There is no money. They need 150 millions or 200 millions. You've had people making campaigns while looking for money. Have you seen them? Have you seen them? So those children didn't do anything bad, no. But life happened to them. So be thankful and grateful. First thing on your journal every morning, pray and be thankful for the family you have, for the life you have, that you are in school, okay? That you even have something to eat. There are those who don't have anything to eat. Even have parents in your life, okay? So write them down, okay? That's going to make a huge difference in your life. Number 2, shift to your strengths, okay? We have 3 minutes. We are closing. Shift to your strength. Make us a list. Still, it takes us back to writing, okay? You shift to your strengths. Now, if you purpose and say, I want to be successful, so one of your strengths should be reading. One of your strengths should be asking questions, okay? Yeah, wanting to know, the curiosity, okay? So shift to your strength, okay? And then make today your masterpiece. Do you know that we are only certain of today? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So maximize today. Even as you are in this learning process, maximize it. Concentrate to the maximum and make sure that you take away the most important things. Because what you have learned today, chances are they are going to move you for the next 5 years. They are going to move you for the next 10 years. You will remember that, you know what, priorities, and then you prioritize a good attitude. Then you will have a good attitude. To be grateful, and then you will be grateful. And these things will take you a long way. So make today your masterpiece, okay? Every single day that you wake up, make sure that you do the best. You perform to the best of your knowledge. All right? Does that help? Any questions? You don't have any questions? But have you understood? Can you summarize for us what you have taken away from the table? Your own understanding. Mm-hmm. Okay.
To be kind to your parents.
Oh, that's nice. To be kind to your parents. Oh, that's nice. What have you taken? Respect your parents. Beautiful. And obey their orders, because they want the best for you. Okay, they're not doing it selfishly, but they want the best for you. What have you taken? Never go on the bad side. You know, there is a line. Those that want to be successful take the right. Those that don't want to be successful take the left. So never go on the bad side. prioritize, have a list, know what you must do first and what you must do second and what you must do last. Manage your time well. Your energy should be given to the most important things. Okay? Those are not important, they get the list of your energy. Non-essentials and essentials, right? Sorry? Be grateful for your parents. Just even make a special prayer and say, God, I thank you. If you know their names, you even mention them. Because when they go to time, they have gone to fend for your life. When they come back, say, God, thank you because my parents are back. Do you know how many parents fail to make it back home? Because of border accidents, because of bus accidents, because of taxi accidents, or even just normal cars accidents. The manager that was shot yesterday, he was at work. Did you see the video? He was at work seated on his desk and someone shot him. That man has children and live somewhere. That means those children didn't get to see their father. Okay? So be grateful for your parents. It's a guardian, be grateful for that guardian. Okay, I love you guys. You love me too? Okay, let me wrap up. Thank you. You want to share what you learned?
We have learnt about positive ways of behaving.
Okay, positive ways of behaving. And I think that we've all learned that attitude is a choice. You choose your behaviors. They don't choose you. You were not born with bad manners. You just choose to be a good person and to be a kind person. Okay, from this table. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. In our group, we have learned to learn from people, even those below us, not only those greater than us. We have also learned to try to read books instead of listening to them, because when you read, much information sticks. Yeah, those are the main lessons.
Good to have you. Good to see you. Okay, that's a good one. From this group.
Good afternoon to you all. I'm called Gabriel. What we have learned from our group is to plan our priorities and to make like a program, daily schedule. And also in the first session, we talked about attitude. And we said a positive attitude helps us to control our life. That's what we learned.
Wow.
And also we said change towards our attitude. To like, you choose, as you said, you choose to either be angry or happy.
Okay.
So that's what we learned.
Wow. Oh, beautifully put. I can't even put it any other way.
We learned, first of all, this kind woman has given us a chance to express ourselves.
The kind woman.
By asking us the benefits of attitude. One of them was for social well-being and to relate with other people. Then she told us to always get time and meditate upon ourselves, find our rooms and correct ourselves, always prioritize your activities. You can't be at school and prioritize to improve your academics yet you're coupling. That's very wrong. And this is what you prioritize, then you can go and do it. Then she told us to never get tired, because there will be that one time an opportunity will come up. And if you get tired and give up on it, that opportunity will pass. So continue working hard. That time will come and you will achieve.
Yes. That's beautiful. So I hope you're able to share this with your friends that are not here. From this group.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abel Gulega, and in our group we learned about priorities and attitude. Our facilitator told us that when you do work with a positive attitude, the work you do will come out positively, but if you do work with a negative attitude, the work you do will come out negatively. And she said you can't do something good and it comes out bad, and you can't do something bad and it comes out good, because good moves with good and bad moves with bad.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. From this group?
My name is Ibrahim Chimiriga. We have learned about priorities. They have taught us we have to say no to some good things so that we can say yes to some better things.
Oh, wow. Say no to some good things. You know, you would think you have to say no to only bad things. Okay? But say no to good things so that you can say yes to better things, to greater things. There is always greater. Just like I said, your dream is greater. Okay? Your success is greater. So saying no because a clique of boys wants to do something and you're like, okay, it's not like it's bad. They just want to hang out and have a lousy talk. And you're like, but it's not time for me to have lousy talk. Right now, it's time for me to read. Or it's time for me to hit the shower. Or it's time for me to go for supper so that I can go for prep. Or it's time for me. So you realize that you are foregoing something that is not necessarily bad. It is, I mean, you'd have just go, you know, chilling, just lousy talk, but you said, no, that's not what I want something different. So everything is a choice. And you know the most disappointing thing is no one can make a choice for you. No one, not even your parent. You know, when we give birth to babies or to children, we go through a lot of pain. We go through a lot of, do you know how much Pampers cost and how much milk costs? And do you know how much school fees costs? We go through a lot of pain. So sometimes you're like, if I could make choices for these children, I would actually make the choices. But God was so wise. He knew that every individual on this world has their own dreams and their own destiny. So your destiny is not actually tied to your parent. Your parent is just a facilitator of your dreams. So what your parent is doing is investing in the possibility of who you will become when you mature. So that means respect that and know that you are a human being of your own that makes choices, and every choice that you make will either bring your tears to your parents or bring happiness. But most of all, because your parents do not have that much time, those tears are really going to be yours. Okay? So I want you to personalize this and individualize this. Don't look at life like I am just moving with a group of people with a huge family. No, I want you to single yourself out and know I need values. And if we ever get time, you can even tell your schools to invite us to come and do these roundtables. Remember, you have 7 modules. So you've only gone through 2 modules. That is attitude and priorities. But you have relationships. You have from good intentions to good actions, from success to significance. 7 of them. So that means you can tell your parents, you can tell whoever you know that can be able to invite us for those roundtables so that we can go through this. What we want to do is to create a value-based generation that will say no, that is capital yes, no, and that is in capital letters, and that is a strong. And then when they get to saying yes, they will say big yeses to their dreams, big yeses to their visions, and big yeses to a good life. So from us to you, from our facilitators, thank you so much. Let our facilitators stand up so that we can give them a round of applause and thank them for the work well done. If they facilitated you well, please give them a round of applause. And flowers. I can see some of them are being given flowers. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, that is sweet. So from us to you is we love you and we believe in your future. We believe in your greatness. We believe in your success. We believe in your significance. It will be you to just vote yourself out. But for us, we are here because we believe that you are going to be the greatest men in this world and the greatest women in this world. So we want you to believe that as well and run with it. And you send our love back to your parents and say that we met people that also wish us well. Okay? Okay, have a good afternoon.